It's 1 minute past 8, and of course, still driving your business in here. And at this very time, we're heading straight into our business tips and quotes. But of course, before we get there, this is all powered by Zabu. That is a platform from Altex. We just made your trading experience much more easy. Start to 92 hash is the code, and definitely you'll be available with quite lots of options. You can choose to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings, but you can invest more than that. But 15K being the minimum requirement in there. The market's open at 8:15, and actually, as I speak right now, just a few minutes left for the markets to open. And of course, we shall be heading into the trade. Zabu just made this a reality. There is no excuse why you shouldn't own government bonds and securities. It's mandatory and necessary for you to make your life much more easy and efficient in a way. Zabu made this a reality. At whatever part of the country you're located, you are in position to actually trade in stocks. Zabu, my money, my future. Altex East Africa, do something new. Well, now let's dive into our business tips and quotes. But firstly, let's take a look at our business tip of the day. Well, our business tip of the day says hire the right people. Of course, that is the major highlight. That already explains and speaks something. Hire the right people. Why do you really need to hire the right people? Of course, let's first go through it and see. Before you even think about your company's growth trajectory, you need to have a solid staff to help you achieve your goals. And of course, still hiring the absolute best people hiring the best people you can is a surefire way to ensure fast growth, said Christian Lang. That's the CEO and co-founder of business software provider that is Spreadshift. And it's all about having the right team, being around with the right people. It's quite a very, very, very important to consider that. Now, this comes back to the aspect of skilling, and it's very, very vital as an entrepreneur, as you are really considering when it comes to employment. You're looking for people to put into your company. Remember, you've invested money, and you really want this to be at its best. It has to really work out like the way it ought to work out for you. So you have to be very sensitive when it comes to matters of allocating who is supposed to do what, and when it comes to evaluating them, how experienced are they in terms of their growth. Now, before you can even think about your company's growth trajectory, you need to have a solid staff to help you achieve your goals. Yes. So, in other words, it's way beyond about the skill. Okay, sometimes, of course, the skill is necessary, but you also need to understand what is the vision of the people you're employing. Are they in line with your vision? Are you skillful enough to make people buy into your vision? And every day, they are willing to spend sleepless nights to make sure that your vision really is put out there. That is something that needs to be really looked into and taken greatly and given the best consideration. When you have the right team, definitely that's going to make it easy for you to prosper throughout spheres, and you will be getting quite huge profits, which will foster resiliency and sustainability and longevity when it comes to your company's survival for a long time. The right people, and that is the way forward. Well, now let's sum this up as we take a look at the business quote of the day. Now, the business quote of the day says, some people dream of success while other people get up every morning and make it happen. This is Wayne Huizenga, a prolific American business person. And of course, he's also the owner of Blockbuster Video and the Miami Dolphins. Yes, some people dream of success while others wake up in the morning to make it happen. And these are statements that sound really obvious. By the way, you've heard, it's not the first time, probably some of you are seeing this. You've seen it before. But I want you to focus on the power behind the statement. Some of the things that we take lightly, in most cases, turn out to be the ones that have made the people that we look up to be to a level they are. Why? Why is it that majority make it and others don't make it? Why? Because we despise the obvious things. And 90% of the world's population despises the obvious things. And the few that take time to see the power behind some of these statements come out and succeed. And that's why there are few people, and it's always going to be like that, because naturally that's the human mindset. We are always probably think that what makes success a reality and a very realistic is the aspect of, secrets, very deep secrets. This, what do you know? Teach me what you know. I want to be rich like you. And the person tells you something and you get disappointed. Now, such a statement. Just imagine every time you wake up in the morning, if you're pursuing something, even though you took 30 minutes on a daily basis doing what you're doing, and you are consistent with that throughout the entire year, I guarantee you that by the end of the year, 30 minutes for 30 days in a month, for 12 months in a year, your life would be different. The way you perceive things will be different. And in that way, there is no way you won't succeed at whatever you've been planning to put out there. So you see how relevant that is. The baby steps, the simple steps that you do on a daily basis, but you do them consecutively. It's very key. Some people dream of success, while others wake up in the morning to make it happen. Now, don't stop at dreaming, but make it happen. And making it happen, it will involve the baby steps I'm saying. That 30 minutes or 30 days for 12 months. Try to do something. What is that thing that is on your heart that you want to perceive? Get some time every day. Get to know about what you want to be in life. Study about it. Just don't talk about it. Pursue knowledge. When you pursue excess knowledge about it, you will be endowed with understanding of that. And that is going to be a milestone for you, an entrepreneur who's venturing into the massive success. So don't despise the humble beginnings, the daily small things which seem very obvious. Well, if they're obvious, then why are you still in the state you're in? Definitely, that is enough to answer that, the results. But the people that have succeeded out there in this world have taken it to a higher step to really take these very, very serious. Well, now, of course, at this very time, let's get into our next update. Of course, this time around, we shall be looking at the Youth to Work Phase 5 program, of course, which commenced, and we'll take a look at this will be involving, that is empowering Kampala's young professionals, and of course, supporting young professionals as catalysts for positive change. And of course, the program is also set to initiate sustainable development to the economy. Something very, very key. Of course, some of the key stakeholders in here, we shall be having Dr. Joshua Mutambi. This is Commissioner for Small and Intermediaries, and that is the Ministry of Trade. And we shall be having Sanjay Arugani, the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank in Uganda. And we shall be getting to see what do they have more regarding this. It's the Youth to Work Phase 5 program, encouraging the young professionals. Let's get into these discussions.
What we've just launched here is a challenges program, youth program, a fund which was sponsored by Standard Chartered Bank of 832 million Uganda shillings. This program is here to support the youth, to facilitate them to participate within the SMEs. And while they are in the SMEs, they are supposed to learn, because they first of all get trained and they now practice their skills within the enterprises. But as they are there, definitely they are to learn how to do businesses, they are to support the enterprises, to be innovative, And when the enterprises grow, we know that they have to increase on their revenues. These enterprises will have to open up bank accounts, so they will also be members of the Standard Chartered Bank. I'm sure they have opened up bank accounts with the Standard Chartered Bank. And that's all what we want, because as government we are promoting inclusivity. We want all the enterprises to be formalized, to run business accounts, to know how to file returns formally as they continue growing in their businesses. The government has tried to put a number of programs to address this challenge. You are aware of the Small and Medium Enterprise Recovery Fund, which the interest rate is about 10%. Because sharing from the banks and the government. There are other programs like in the Microfinance Support Center, whereby the SACCOs can get the loans from there, and then they give to the enterprises, the farmers and all that at a reduced interest rate. Of course, the commercial banks, those ones, the interest rate is a bit high, but government has tried to reduce on their the CBR rate, so that the interest rates can also be lowered. So it is a progressive thing, of course, but that's why we encourage the youth to take up the government programs. The Agricultural Credit Facility, the Small and Medium Recovery Fund, and other microfinance support center programs, because those ones, the interest rate is a bit reduced.
Privileged to have so many visitors, you saw so many youth, and of course you saw many SMEs and the partners who are associated with us. Today we launched our 4th phase of Youth to Work program. As you have just heard, the Youth to Work program has been in existence since 2019 when we first started. We are working with partners Challenges Uganda, which are part of Challenges International. This is part of Standard Chartered Bank's Future Makers campaign. We talk about it as a campaign, which is largely connected with the Standard Chartered Foundation globally. Essentially, as I said, that the initiative is very linked to our sustainability agenda, where we really focus on women, youth, and smaller businesses. As I indicated to you, that Standard Chartered Bank has huge aspirations. Our aspirations are to educate over 500,000 women, especially girls. Our aspiration is really to create so much more entrepreneurship, and we said we want to impact about 100,000 businesses. And then we also have a huge area of employability. So this is one of the other programs that we are leading. We have so many others. There's a gold program, all part of the Future Makers program. So 4th phase. The first phase was we put in about 300 million shillings. And as you heard, just over 3,900 youth have benefited so far in the 4 phases. This is the 4th phase, so it will be more now. In the current phase, we are, totally 121 SMEs have worked with us. Like I said, 3,900 youth. In the first phase, we had 40 youth who were part of the cohort. This year, we will run 2 cohorts, which means youth who come out from education apply to be part of Youth for Work program. They then get evaluated through Challenges Uganda. Then they are placed into SMEs. Their role is to develop their own skills, develop their capacity, but also to create a positive impact to the SMEs that they will be working on. They will be trained. So the individuals who come out of the program are future ready. That means they are fit for purpose and fit for future, really. What will happen with the 832 million shillings that we'll put? So basically, as you saw, we have a partner, Challenges Uganda. Their role is, the funding goes to them. And their role is to really meet the criteria or the requirements of the program. The program will entail that they will scan a lot of youth from universities that come out. Then they will create 2 cohorts this year, which means they will work with SMEs, they will scan youth. Those youth who are capable will be then placed with SMEs. And then those youth have a 4-month journey in being placed with the SMEs. Like you heard, there is skills development, there is human capacity development, there is leadership skills, there is sales skills, negotiation skills. All these skills will be imparted to them. At the same time, these youth have the time to look at the challenges or the opportunities that the SME have and have an opportunity to create a report. So the SMEs then use that to build their own capacity. So it's a win-win-win equation across board. As you know, SMEs are very important to Uganda. You know, they are about 70% of the nation. They create 90% of the employment, employable youth. This program, as you have seen, is very successful. Today you heard SMEs talking about how their businesses have been successful because of the youth impacting them. You heard youth talking about what their experience was. Like they said, education is not defining their lives, but this program has helped them to define their lives. They've learned skills of networking, they've learned skills of productivity, they've learned skills of really decision making, as you heard, analytics, and really becoming more innovative in life, which was very amazing. So that's really the whole program.
Well, regarding those matters, we see that development partners have invested. That is an additional of 832 million into youth. That is to work phase 5 program. Of course, to support more young professionals become catalysts for positive change. That is in business and communities across Kampala. Now, the funding from Standard Chartered Foundation, of course, we get to see that it comes at a time when the country indeed the world over and recovering from the devastating impact, yes, that is of the pandemic. Regarding that, now this is quite very challenging aspect, I must say, especially to the young professionals and those that are aspiring to get into the working space. I must say, especially entrepreneurs, youth entrepreneurs, to go in there and work really so hard. Now, we see that the Standard Chartered Foundation, in partnership with Challenges, that is worldwide, a Kampala-based business development consultancy, launched yesterday a scale-up of youth to work phase 5 program, which is, of course, at worth 832. Now, the Commissioner for Micro and Small Enterprises, that is MSMEs, at the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives, that is Dr. Joshua Mutambi. We had him in our conversation, said that about this program, and they're here to support the youth that is to be in position to participate in the small and medium enterprises. So that is something that is they were looking up to. Youth into small and intermediate enterprises, and definitely majority of them actually, that is what they really do. That is what they execute to a great extent. Now we see that we see still further in this report here that the youth to work is the flagship employability project that is under Future Makers by the Standard Chartered Foundation. Now it is the bank's global initiative to tackle inequality and promote greater economic inclusion for young people in local communities, and of course through the pillars of entrepreneurship and employability. At the same time, the youth to be driven into the pillars of entrepreneurship and employability, and of course, above all, having the required education and skills to execute that. Now, the CEO of Standard Chartered Bank, of course, when he was addressing the participants, according to this discussion, he said they will continue to work in partnership, that is with several NGOs and government, to strengthen capacity of the young people and people with disabilities through employability skills, so that they can improve their chances of at least getting something to do, of involving in entrepreneurship, other than them being on the streets, begging, most especially the disabled. You can actually do something for themselves that can fetch some good revenues, something very key for their development as people, but above all, for the country's economic growth and development. Now we see that since 2019, the program has invested in 198 graduates. So if you're a graduate right there, I want you to know that graduates before have benefited from this program. And they are 198. That is since 2019. So just about a space of 4 years. That is quite positive. And now the program has invested in 198 graduates, and that have provided business development support to 121 enterprises. Now we see that 50% were females, 50% were males, and 8.5% were persons with disabilities. Now, it has also bridged the gap between beneficiaries and the ecosystem players, something very key. And now you can see the impact of this particular project. Very good for a youth out there, most importantly, to position yourself to be a part of this. Now, while unveiling the project that's on behalf of government, Dr. Joshua Mutambi commended investing an additional, that is 832 million in the youth program that will tackle inequality and promote great economic inclusion. That is for the young people in the local communities. That's been quite some of the key issue in here about our young people in our country, Uganda. Financial inclusion, economic inclusion has not been a reality to them. But with such programs and the active participation of the youth communities, the different youth groups out there, I believe this is an icebreaker for you to earn some good money and you can get out of poverty. Now the Youth to Work program supports young people who have struggled to find employment. So if you're a young person that has struggled to find employment for over probably the last 5 years, you graduated away from the universities, these are programs that are quite very impactful. The Youth to Work program supports young people who have struggled, that is to find employment with the skills they need to secure employment or pursue business ventures of their own. So there are two aspects. You're looking for employment, but you need the skills. You need to get the skills that are required for that employment that you're looking towards too. So that makes such programs quite very relevant and of great impact to the community when it comes to social development and economic at the same time. Well, 22 minutes past 8, and that is it for our update number 2, definitely. And of course, don't forget to trade securities on Zabu, a platform from Altix. We just made the trading experience a reality and easy. *292# is the code in there, and which will avail you with quite a lot of options. You can choose to buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000. As I speak right now, just a few minutes back, 7 minutes back, roughly, the markets have already opened on the Zabu. So *292# is the code for you. With as little as 15,000 Ugandan shillings, you are in position to actually possess a stock in there. Now, the markets will be running Monday to Friday. They always run Monday to Friday, except on the public holidays or the weekends when you definitely can access the markets. But of course, the rest of the days, you can capitalize and make huge profits. There is no more excuse. That's why I shouldn't own these shares. No hustle, no paperwork. Zabu, my money, my future. Altix East Africa, do something new. 23 past 8, now let's get into a short break. And of course, coming up is business and entertainment. And of course, also, we shall be reviewing what's happening that is in the world of sport. Good morning.